It didn't.
Huh.
Oh, we'll figure that out later.
Okay.
That's my problem, not yours.
All right, and
And then
we're
this
there.
here is gonna be your scoot,
Okay,
right?
yeah,
Okay. I'm
Perfect.
probably have a clicker, but I do not see it, so somebody ate it or something, but
surprising. Did things disappear?
you just do that,
Okay,
and then that's still active if they want to scan that.
okay,
That's the entire workbook.
okay.
I know it says 2023, guess what hasn't changed? The workbook. But I did say this morning in the quick start, there's a new Ignite coming for 26.
Oh, okay.
I think they're gonna drop it in like 20 minutes. They told us at Mega Camp in August, but I'm like, I'm not throwing that to you guys, because. So I think in January we'll have the new Ignite.
Okay, that'll be fun.
I'm also not sure.
Okay.
Gary's not sure. We'll figure it out. You got it.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay. And so I do have my laptop up. So if Morgan, Katie, Patrick, and Candace, if you guys want to turn your cameras on, I'd be able to see you. That'd be really cool. I would love that. Huh?
I need screen.
Oh,
Yeah, that's important.
yeah, we got a real screen
They
share.
can't see the screen.
You can't see the screen yet, guys?
One time when you knew what he was doing. Oh, that. Now they should be able to see.
All right.
How's that?
That's great.
Missing now.
Can you guys see the Ignite material on the screen
Yes,
on Zoom?
we can see it.
Okay, cool.
There we go.
Very good. Thank you. All right. So if you're here for Ignite, you're in the right spot. That's great. So this is the first step of Ignite. So I'm glad that you guys are all here, and I'm glad that we have some folks watching this virtually on Zoom. So that's great. We do have Maria and Jeff in the classroom here with me today. So I love Ignite, and I love teaching Ignite because the material comes from leadership and Gary down in Texas going out to agents that are hugely successful and asking them, what do they do to be successful? And what I love about that is we don't need to recreate the wheel. We just do what they do, and we have a stronger chance of being successful too. So that's a great reason to come to Ignite. And I always teach a class coming from the perspective of production, because I'm a producing agent just like all of you guys. And I want to give my experiences and answer any questions that you have as we go along. So if you have something, Jeff, or anybody in Zoom, I'll do my best to watch the chat, but I'm not always great at that. Let me see if I can move this down on the screen a little bit here. But you can always just interrupt me too. No, it doesn't let me do that. There we go. That's a little bit better. So feel free to interrupt and ask questions or share experiences or anything like that as we go through. So today is step 1. And today we are going to talk about how to be the real estate expert, because that's what people are expecting us to do when we run into them in the grocery store and at parties and family functions. People love to talk about real estate. So they're going to come up to us, and I'm sure you've already experienced this, where they say, hey, how's the market? What's happening in Dover? What's happening in York? Is our properties moving? Is there more coming on the market? Things like that. So we'll talk about what being the expert in your market looks like. And then in every Ignite, we're going to talk about lead generation all the time. Always be talking about lead generation and what that looks like for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be like cold calling all the time, although if you love doing that, my husband was in real estate for a long time with me, and he was the weirdo that loved cold calling, and he still does. So for some people that works, but for you, it's finding out what is your sweet spot for networking. That could be social media. It could be going to networking events. It could be being on the phone all the time. What are you around and in that you can use as a tool for networking? So we'll talk about that too. And then the real power in lead generation is the lead follow-up. What do we do with that lead once we get it? It's so easy for leads to get dropped. We write down their information. We intend to do all these things for them. And then the phone rings, or you get on Facebook, or you check your email. And before you know it, you turn the page on those notes, and then you forget to go follow up with that lead. So how do we make sure that we have a system in place for lead follow-up? Super important. And then we're going to talk about the transaction. We get someone under contract, and what does that look like? Okay. So let's dive right in, and I'll just leave that up for a second. If anybody needs the workbook for Ignite, you can scan that and you'll get the workbook. And Tim was just saying that this is from 2023. It's the same workbook, and it sounds like we might be getting a new one coming up in January. New course material. So today, we're going to be focusing on the real estate expert. We're going to talk about sparking your career, how to get started, how to embrace your job, right? How to connect with your market, and how to define your value. Embracing your market, it's, we give our people a great experience because really that's what they're buying from you. They want to feel taken care of. They want you to take the lead. They want to be led. They don't want to be in charge. That's why they're hiring us. And we really have a responsibility to embrace our job and be that leader for them because we do get paid a lot of money for what we do. So what does that look like? The behind the scenes part where nobody sees what you're doing, but those are sometimes the pieces that we have to embrace so that we can give our people a better experience. And it could be things like going to contracts class or any other training, coming to Ignite. That's a great way to embrace your job and learn how to become an expert in your market. The kind of behind the scenes stuff that people don't in the market don't see. They see like all the HGTV stuff. We want them to see what the result is of how we're embracing our job and how we're learning and being a learning-based person. And that will lead into how to connect with your market. Like, for example, how many homes are on the market right now? Like there's 39 active single-family homes in Dover. I live in Dover, so I tend to focus there. But if you're looking for a single-family home, there's only 39 of them available. And the price range is huge. A lot of them are in the $1 million part. So who are your buyers? And are they not on that end, but they might not be on the super low end? The median price right now of those 39 homes is $799,000. So people need to know that. We want to connect with them, but we want to find out what's important to them as far as price point, characteristics of the home. Can we expand that search if their budget is 500 or 600,000? How do we help them and how do we connect with that market? Have you been in those homes? If people are wanting to buy in Dover or Epping or wherever. Where are you from, Jeff?
Dover.
Dover. Okay, awesome. They want it. It's great when we're talking to them and we've been in some of these homes. They love to hear that when you can say, oh yeah, I went there, but what you don't see from the pictures is that the backyard might be trashed or maybe it's stunning and the photos aren't really reflecting that. So we want to connect with our market so that our market knows that we're the expert when they have a need or a want, that they can come to us. Okay. And we need to be able to define our value, right? So for me, I'm a relationship-oriented person. So when I try to define my value with people, I want them to know that I'm an expert and I'm a great fiduciary for them, meaning I act in their best interest, and I'm here for the relationship. Some people might have different value to offer. Some people might be like a super great land expert, or a luxury specialist or something along those lines. So defining our value and being able to talk about that is super important. So let's get into that. So today's agenda, we're going to start talking about a new way of thinking, because our brain doesn't know the difference between the truth and a lie. So what we tell it is important and what we think about is important. Coming from curiosity and not being defensive, stuff like that. We'll talk about the KW culture and the values and the market center values. We'll talk about resources that are available, your vision. And every day in Ignite, we're going to talk about a success system. And as we go through, if anything particularly resonates with you that you want to share as an aha at the end, let's do that. And I love that they throw these Gary Keller quotes in. The first one is, anyone can do it. Not everyone will you? Because this job is not it is really a simple job, but it requires a lot of consistency. You don't even have to be the very best at it. You just have to do it consistently. Have you found that, Jeff? Like when you're in there doing it? Okay, the 6 personal perspectives. You guys might have seen this. Have you seen this before, Jeff? 6 personal perspectives? When did you get your license? 3. Oh, awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you're here. Anyone at home, have you guys seen this? Morgan or Patrick or Candace? No? Well, we're going to talk about the 6 personal perspectives, and it's actually a whole class that Tim teaches, I think maybe every other quarter or something like that. Hey, come on in, Tom.
Checking in,
Okay.
great job you're doing.
You're the best.
I wanted to see what a great instructor looked like, and they were like, oh, Sue's right over there.
Absolutely. In person.
Keep up with it.
Thank you, Tom. So the 6 personal perspectives, these are really great. These are, as much about life as they are about real estate, more about life really than they are about real estate. So we're going to touch on these individually, and we're going to start with, and the whole list is committing to self-mastery, and then committing to the 80-20 principle of Pareto's principle, moving from E to P, meaning entrepreneurial to purposeful. We're going to talk about being learning-based the foundation of your action plan, right? And we know you're learning-based because you're here. And removing limiting beliefs. One of my favorite parts about the 6 personal perspectives, because nobody talks to us more than we do to ourselves. And so what we tell ourselves is important. And then being accountable. So let's jump right into committing to self-mastery. And what that looks like is knowing your goals. This is a great time of year to be talking and thinking about goals because we're moving into goal setting for 2026. We're moving into a season where Tim is going to be offering business planning clinic to set your goals for 2026. And he'll be offering that in Portsmouth and North and Meredith and York, I believe. But you'll be hearing more about those coming up in the Quick Start and on the Agent Hub. And committing to self-mastery also is knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. So your goals could be like, how many transactions do you want to do? You can break it down into how many conversations do I want to have every day or every week, right? But how many families do I want to help? So if you're motivated by serving and helping families, then let your transactions speak to you or your goals speak to you. Like, I want to help this many families this year. Or if you're a spreadsheet person, you're an analytical, you want to know how many deals am I closing? Whatever it works for you, there is no right or wrong answer on how you look at that. But knowing where you want to end at the end of the year and then working that backwards to what do I have to do every day to make that goal happen? And what are my strengths and weaknesses so that I can play on my strengths and maybe leverage out my weaknesses so that I'm having fun with what I do and I'm increasing the chance of success by playing to my strengths. Okay. And know how to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. So for me, my weakness is marketing, which is why I have Maria. She does all my marketing. So I leverage that. I'm not great at marketing and going on social media every day and doing all of that fun stuff. If that's what your strength is, do that and leverage out the other pieces. But figure out what your strength is and then leverage that out. And then look to master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. So maybe if you're not in a position yet to have a marketing person, maybe it's looking at the training calendar and figuring out, okay, when are they having a training class on how to use Command and set up smart plans so that I can market to my database and fit that into your work week or your work month so that you can get some skills and knowledge around the areas that you need help in. And then what are the habits that I need to do every day to make that happen? So if I'm not really good at that, do I need to put in my calendar to go on Facebook and Instagram or and then be on purposeful about what I'm going to do when I'm on there? So I'm not just scrolling, right? I'm liking, I'm commenting, I'm networking, I'm showing value, I'm being mindful about what I am posting and what I am commenting. And plan your skill, learn the skills that you need to make that medium work for you. Maybe you're really great at networking and you just have to find more networking groups to go to. There's a big benefit for people that like to go out and network, and putting yourself out into the market where people will then eventually start coming to you when they need information about the market. Right? So it is committing to self-mastery and figuring out individually, what do we need to do to become successful? Okay. Committing to the 80-20 principle, right? 20% of our actions lead to 80% of your results. And this is true in any facet of your life, right? So what do you guys think anyone there in Zoom have a guess on what your 20% should be looking like? What should your 20% be? Morgan, Patrick, Candace, anyone?
I have no idea.
Well, yes, absolutely. It's lead gen. Lead gen is 20% of your actions will lead to 80% of your results. So if you want your results to look like transactions and deals closing, you have to do lead generation. The 20% part's going to be figuring out what part of lead gen are you really good at. But 20% of your lead generation will equal to 80% of your results. So we have to do lead generation. It's our biggest rock. It's the most important part of our job is to lead generate.
I've been handing out a lot of business cards.
You are? That's great. Where are you going to hand out business cards, Candace?
So I am a bartender. I am a server. I've spent the summer working full time, and I've been working there for 4 years, but I work for Tuscan Brands. So I work at the Tuscan Sea Grill in Newburyport. And this past weekend, the holiday weekend, I worked 5 days straight, practically killed myself, but I gave out probably a good chunk of my 500 business cards I just got last week. I'm just getting my feet wet. I just got my license in July. I've been working full time, and I've been waiting till Labor Day to step back so I can really focus on my business. So I told them I would give them until then. And then after that, I was going to go down to a set schedule so I could really start. I haven't done a lot. I've been getting 1 or 2 days off a week since I did orientation. And on those 1 or 2 days, I've really been trying to get some stuff done. And I've just got, I had to buy a planner because I've got so many classes I want to attend and so many things I need to do. And I've just been trying to chip away at it while I was still working like 50 hours a week. So I'm thankful that I'm going to be able to step back a little bit now and really get focused. But I've been giving them to my guests. I've been giving them to people that I connect with, people that I build a rapport with. Not everybody, but the guests that I feel I had a connection with. And it's in Massachusetts, so I have my Maine license right now. I'm getting New Hampshire, and I'm hoping to get my Mass license at the beginning of next year. So rolling into the spring summer buying surge, I wanted to have all 3, and so I've been letting people know that and giving them my card in the meantime. And I've given out a lot of cards. And I'm waiting to hear back on compliance from my social media pages this week. I'm trying to get things up and running this week for me. So I'm really happy to be here, get some info.
That is wonderful. Good for you. And I'm going to say, on top of giving out your business cards, I'll challenge you to try to get their information so that the outreach of your lead generation can then be more purposeful of connecting and giving them something of value, or getting their information and then finding them on social media to connect with them. But I love that, and welcome, and good for you for getting your license and getting into this market. It's such a fun business. Go ahead, Eric.
Just to
Yeah,
touch on that,
I'm really looking forward to it.
There's a lot of digital apps that you can use your business card and it'll automatically ask for theirs back when they scan it. So like it makes kind of your return a little bit easier on that. You'll probably get 50 to 75% of them actually fill it out, but at least you're going to find out who did.
Are you talking about like the dot card?
Yeah, Dot or like Blink is the one I use, automatically asks for it back. I have Dot and Blink. I use both
Yeah,
actually.
I
for
was gonna do
different
that.
businesses, but yeah, you should.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's great. Do you find like you like one over the other, Eric?
Depends. I think Dot is easier. Blink probably pulls more information back, but it's still relying on them to fill it out on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep, that's fantastic. And being a bartender, that's a great way to constantly be meeting new people.
Yeah, I meet people every day. So
Yeah.
I've been trying to connect with as many of them as I can, and I didn't have the time to plug everybody into command, but this is a passing, closing out, giving them when I run their credit card, chatting a little bit and dropping a card and, but I didn't get anybody, I haven't gotten anybody's info on my end, so I was also a little bit busy while I was doing all that, but
Oh, and plus you
tried.
have to work while you're there.
yeah, it was so busy. The weekend was just nuts.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Yeah,
But you know what? You start by putting yourself out there.
yeah,
And if
that's
you
what I've been
are,
trying to do.
and if the restaurant is in Newburyport, know your Newburyport numbers every day when you go in, because when someone says, "Hey, how's the market?" and then you can spit back actual data, now you're showing value,
Yeah,
and people love that. It doesn't even have to be like they might not even be ready to transact yet. You don't know. But if you spit back actual data, people will start taking you seriously, and enjoy and embrace that conversation. And then you never know when you're going to hit someone who says, "Wow, that's really great. I've actually been thinking of making a move or buying something."
I did get a little bit of that.
You do?
I did get a little bit, yeah. A few people, more than a few, they were like, "Yeah, well, we've been thinking about moving out to Maine." Like, hey, I'm your girl.
Right?
I just don't feel I'm at the confidence level I need to. I haven't even closed the deal yet. I'm trying to just absorb everything so I can do it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, you're in a great spot. You're in a place where you can be learning based and start getting some of the tools to build your confidence. And if I find even for myself every day when I do look at the numbers and I start, I open up the MLS and I look and see what's active and what's happening. That kind of gives me confidence so that when someone does say what's happening, I at least have something immediate to say other than, yeah, the market's hot right now. Everyone says that. We don't want to sound like everybody else. So your 20% will get you the 80%, which will get you to a closing table faster, Candace, when you figure out what your 20%, what your lead gen is going to look like, because the lead gen is our 20% all of the time. And that is consistent for every agent, regardless of what your production level is. I've been licensed since 2013, and lead generation is still my biggest rock that I have to do every day. Even if it's not my favorite, it's still something that has to be done.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you.
I want to hear more as we go through. The next part that we're going to talk about is moving from E to P. And this is kind of a cool graph because we're talking about going from being the entrepreneurial approach, which is doing what comes naturally, and then breaking through that line here and saying, okay, what are we going to do and how are we going to break through? Because when we're entrepreneurial and when we're doing what comes naturally, we're going to work and we're going to lead gen and we're going to pass out business cards. And then if people don't start calling us back, we kind of move down towards resignation and then maybe looking for greener pastures. Okay, like, oh gosh, I handed out all these business cards. No one's calling me back. And then maybe I'm in the wrong brokerage. I'm going to go look somewhere else to hang my license. Well, that's not what's causing you to not have business. It's that you need to do something different than hand out business cards. Or maybe you need to do something different than just sending out emails. What is it? And then you go someplace else and you come into the same, you get business cards with different colors on it and a different name, but you have the same results. And then you go back down to resignation. So what is it that I have to do to break through that ceiling, that line, to go to purposeful? And by doing that, hey, Jay, that would look like starting to use one of those apps where you're handing out your business card, but now you're getting that interaction back and you're getting their contact information. And then you're putting, you're being purposeful about what you're going to do with that contact information. And because you become focused on, okay, I need now contacts. I don't need to have so much outreach. I need to have a reason to be calling people. I have to have their contact information. I need to figure out what knowledge do I need to provide value to them, like finding out more about what their wants and needs are, so that I can contact them and say, oh, when I spoke to you at the bar last weekend, you mentioned really wanting to look at something by the water, and 2 properties this week popped up by the water that I thought you might be interested in. And now I'm being focused, and I might have a system or a model to do that. So for me, when I'm talking to someone, whether they're ready to buy or not, I find out what they might be interested in. And then I would say something like, what I find a lot of people like, Eric, is that even though you're not ready to buy right now, but you really are interested in York, I set them up on what I call a listing cart through the MLS. And you can start getting properties sent right to your email when they become available, so that you can start learning about the market in York before you're even ready to buy. Does that sound like something that would be of value to you? They always say yes, because people love real estate. So what is that system? I get their information. I find out what their points of interest are. I put them on a listing cart. I start sending them things automated, so I'm not actually having to do any work, but my name and my face is on every email they get from the MLS. And now I have a system, and I'm breaking through that line, so that when something does pop up, they're going to think of me and call me. Or maybe I'm using, I love it when I get alerts that people are opening up the listings that I send them. They're hearting them, and now I know they're starting to become more active. If they're like rejecting, they're hearting, and maybe they haven't done that in the last 3 months, but now that's heating up. That's a reason for me to call them. And you call them up and say, hey, Candace, I noticed that you've been looking at 123 Main Street, and you've been looking at this. What about those properties do you like? What's happening in your life right now that might be a reason that they're looking at properties more seriously? Are you looking to make a move? Can I connect you with a lender? How can I help you? That's breaking through that line and being purposeful, and finding systems that may not be natural right now, but eventually the habit of doing them will make it natural. Does that make sense?
Sue, I had a quick question.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Do you have a preferred way of setting up the listing cards? Because I've kind of messed around with it quite a bit, and it seems a little clunky. And I just wasn't sure if maybe there's a better way of going about it.
Are you in New Hampshire or Maine?
New Hampshire.
Okay. I think the listing cart is an underutilized tool, and really a fantastic tool. I love setting people up on listing carts. I try to go very broad. So I'm really going with, towns that they like, and I push out the price point. If they're not really ready to buy, I will make those parameters so broad. So I put in, their contact information, the town. I'll put maybe a minimum number of bedrooms and bathrooms. I don't ever do a maximum. If a garage is an absolute must-have for them, I'll put that on there. If they say it would be nice to have, but I don't have to have it, then I will not even put that on there. I'll really be focusing on the price range, and is it a single-family home, or is it a multifamily home? And then you can set up the listing cart so that you get a notification every time properties get sent to them. You'll get that email as well. I don't love that feature unless I have a really hot buyer, because it junks up my email. But I do go into contact management in the MLS, and I look and see if people have started saving properties. That's how I set it up. And then I put in their contact information in command. I put in what their parameters are. Is
it just through Paragon Connect or whatever they call it in there? It's I understand the process of what information to put in, but it's more of actually which settings, I guess you would call it, within inside the MLS?
So I go right into Prime MLS, and then I hit contacts, and I just hit add new contact. And then it walks you through how to do that, like step by step. And I go in that way. And you can set, if you need practice at it, I would say set up yourself as an example. Or, and if you're still struggling with that, you can call me and I'll walk you through it. If that
Yep.
would be helpful.
I actually have myself set up on one, and I've set them up for a few clients in the past. I was just trying to. I just always question whether or not I'm doing it correctly, because I mean I'm always looking anyway, so I do have myself set up. But
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit clunky on the setup because it doesn't really give you confirmations. But I do go in through Prime MLS and I set them up that way. I set sellers up on listing carts all the time too. If somebody even gives me an inclination, you know what, I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to sell, but my kids are getting older. I might be looking at downsizing. I might be looking at upsizing. I might be looking at second homes. They say anything like that, and I use the same line with them. You know what I find a lot of people like, even if they're not ready? You're not ready to sell? I set them up on what I call a listing cart so that you can start seeing what the Dover market is looking like and what prices are doing and what days on market are doing and giving them that kind of language. So then I'm setting potential sellers up where they're getting properties that have my name and my face on it in their email. Make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan. This is really great. You're learning-based if you're here and if you're taking classes. And, you know, being ignorance-based is, I know what I know and I'll ignore anything else. It's kind of that like stubborn old uncle that doesn't want to learn a new trick or learn something new. But, you know, you won't ever grow and expand your business if you are ignorant based, because this market is changing all of the time. And finding new tools and new ways to communicate with people are important. So being learning based is I know what I know and there is more to know. Like, how do I get better at setting up listing carts? How do I learn how to talk to people? What is my script or the conversation that I'm having with people to get them to want to be on the listing cart? Because that's my goal. Because now I'm touching them more regularly if I get them on a listing cart, even if they're not ready yet. My goal is to do that so that they can start just seeing me and being an expert. They'll associate me being an expert when I'm giving them information about the market. So then you break through that wall and, you know, to higher self-actualization, where you're having more productivity and you're learning how to expand your mind and expand what you're able to offer people, so that when they're asking you or you're needing to show value, you have a way to do that. And it could be through reading books. It could be that you start doing audiobooks because you're in the car so much. So what does the learning base mean? It could be in-person classes. It could be tutorials. It could be just practice. It could be, you know, asking your family and friends if you can go over and do a CMA for them so that you get better at that and you're practicing. It could be asking if, you know, there are seasoned agents that would let you tag along to a listing presentation or do open houses for them. It could be going on to some of the tech classes, learning more about Command and how to use your database. So there's lots of opportunities to be learning based and figure out how that's going to help grow your business. And here's a great quote by Albert Einstein. I am neither especially clever nor especially gifted. I am only very curious. And coming from curiosity is such a great way to talk to people about what their needs are. Like, my kids are going to be getting older. I might be needing to downsize. Oh, really? How many kids do you have? What ages are they? What are they looking to do? Where would you want to go if you were downsizing? What would that look like if you did sell your house? Where would you want to move to? Coming from curiosity and asking more questions is a great way to learn about people. And people love to talk about themselves, so give them opportunities to do that. This personal perspective, number 5, is really super powerful. You know, we all have limiting beliefs, and a limiting belief is, you know, we talk to ourselves more than anybody else will talk to us in our head. And I know I said earlier, our brain does not know the difference between the truth and a lie. So when you tell yourself, I don't have enough time for training, I can't be successful in this market, right? This is a tough market, you guys. We still have an inventory shortage. We have high interest rates. You know, Candace, you just got your license, and I don't know how long, Patrick and Morgan, how long you guys have had your licenses. Have you had them very long, or?
About a year, but I also still work a full-time construction job as well.
Yeah.
I think I've done 4 or 5 deals. I think it's 4, maybe 5, somewhere around.
Right? And it's, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I've had my license for just over 3 years now, and I've worked at a couple different brokerages in the office, working with lots of different agents, and I've seen it be difficult for lots of people.
Yeah. All that is true. It is difficult. And it is a challenging market. So a limiting belief would be, I can't be successful in this market. Except what we do know is that there are still properties being bought and sold every single day. We do know that a lot of people have chosen to get out of this market, which opens up opportunity for the rest of us that have chosen to stay in or get in. I can't devote 3 hours each day to lead generation. So if you tell yourself that you can't be successful in this market, guess what? You're right, you can't. If you tell yourself that you can be successful in this market, guess what? You're right, you can. We just have to tell ourselves, we have to remove the limiting belief of, I can be successful in this market because I am determined to do 5 deals this year. And I'm going to figure out, what am I around that I need to be in? I have kids in the school system. Great. What activities are my kids in? Soccer. Great. I'm going to be at the soccer field, and I'm going to make sure that every person on that soccer field knows that I'm in real estate. That could be a great way to get business and to show people how educated you are about the market. So when you have unlimiting beliefs, you unlimit your thinking and you unlimit your success, right? So if you're at the soccer field, mine was a swim team. I had a swimmer. When I was at the pool, I just needed a couple of people there to talk to about real estate, because as soon as other people heard me talking to them about real estate, guess what? Everybody else wanted to talk about real estate too. Then I would go home and I'd be, okay, I met Terry today. I'm going to find her on Facebook. I met Jody today. I'm going to find them on Facebook. I met Eric. I'm going to find them on Facebook. And then I'm going to friend them, and I'm going to start communicating with them. And I'm going to make sure that when they're friends with me, I'm putting some value added pieces on my page just to gently remind them constantly that I am in real estate. And then before I know it, communication is going to start to happen, right? Because I've unlimited my thoughts on, I can't do 3 hours of lead generation. You might not be able to be on the phone for 3 hours. But Candace, you're in a bar, you're lead generating by letting people know you're in real estate. Now you have to figure out how to make that a two-way conversation, but that's time that you can use for lead generation. And if you're in construction, Patrick, how do you turn being in construction? Actually, you have some great opportunities to let people know that you're in real estate. Huh?
Find a builder.
Find a builder. People like to talk about construction projects too. So turning those pieces and what you're around and turning those into lead generation opportunities is a fantastic way to lead generate and offer value. So tell yourself good things, because your brain will believe it. And okay, I said what I liked the most, and that was the unlimiting beliefs. What I like the least is being accountable. So I'm a very transparent person. This has never been my strong point, but it is necessary at the same time, right? If you're someone that is not accountable, you're someone then that has, doesn't seek reality. It's kind of ignorance-based, ask no questions, right? I know what I know, I don't need to know anything else. If you're accountable, you're going to want to seek reality and awareness and what's the situation. If you're not accountable, you will fight reality. You'll have denial. That's not the way it is. That's not how I see it. That's your perception. If you flip that into someone that acknowledges reality, you'll have more clarity. This is the way it is. Got it. I'll see what's going on. Or maybe I can expand. That is the way it is right now. How can I change that? Right? There's not many properties available. This person only wants to live in Dover. They're right now saying they want to live in Dover. There's nothing in their price point. Their budget's not going to magically change. Let's help them expand their search and show them properties someplace else. And how are you going to do that? And come from curiosity. Well, why only Dover? If you don't buy a home this year, what will that do for you? What will that look like? If you're not accountable, you'll be someone that blames. If everybody would do their job, then I could do my job. It's not my fault, it's yours. Right? Why didn't you change something? So be accountable and own it. Energy and focus. If it is to be, then it's up to me. Right? What do I want? And this is my responsibility. Like, I might not like this piece of my job. I'm in a negotiation and I have a buyer and the seller is not willing to move on anything. That's their fault. Well, how do I change that? And how can I influence what that's going to look like? Right? Maybe I need to find language to use with that co-broke to make them, to give them language that they can go back to their seller with to open up negotiations. How do I do that? I'm going to own that. Personal excuses. If you're someone that's not accountable, it's not my job. I was never given a chance, right? It doesn't work here. As opposed to someone that's accountable that will say, I'm going to find solutions. What are my options? How can I get what I want? And what can I do? Maybe what can I do differently? Right? I'm not getting a hold of anybody in a two-way conversation. Everyone I call, no one's answering the phone. It's not my fault. I tried. So maybe I'm going to be accountable and say, okay, no one's picking up the phone. I'm going on social media and I'm going to be direct messaging people. Maybe the people that I'm contacting prefer text. So I'm going to start texting and try to get a two-way conversation going back and forth via text or via direct message. What am I going to do if I really have a goal of having this many contacts by the end of the day or the end of the week? I have to maybe try a different way to get those contacts going. Maybe I need to get off of my butt and in my car and go drive somewhere where I'm going to talk to actual people, right? I go to the grocery store at least 5 times a week. I'm a weirdo. I love going to the grocery store. Guess what? I see people that I don't normally see, and guess what they ask me? How's the market? Now I have a conversation with them. Maybe I don't have them in social media yet. So that's the first thing I do when I get home from the grocery store. I check and see if I have them on social media, and if not, I'm adding them. And then I can direct message them. Great seeing you at Hannaford today. You mentioned that you guys would love a lake property next year. Look at what I just saw. Whatever it is, I'm going to find a solution. I'm going to find a way to talk to actual people today, right? And being someone that's not accountable is somebody that has like a wait and hope strategy. Waiting and hoping is not a strategy that will give you success, right? Well, time will tell. It's out of my hands. Nope. Wait and hope will not get you money. It will not get you transactions. You have to get on with that and have an action plan. Let's get started. Time's up. Let's go. I need to heat up what I'm doing if I want to have activity next year, right? That means I need to talk to more people. If I like old people, if you're communicating with old people, they don't want emails. They want to talk to you on the phone. If you're talking to younger people, they don't want to talk to you on the phone, right? Who are you talking to might change how you're communicating with them. I need to get on with that and figure out how they want me to communicate with them if I want to have two-way communication, right? So accountable will equal change. And Sean Aker is a great author, and he has a book on happiness. And he says happiness is not an individual sport. What I love about that is one of the activities that he has in his happiness book is every day for 25 days, reach out to somebody and tell them something good about them. I did that once, and I should do that again, gosh darn it. That's a great way to actually, you want to get some two-way communication going, show happiness and gratitude for somebody else, right? Jason Westcott was the first person I picked when I wrote that list of 25 people. And I just reached out to him by text. Hey, Jay, I really love when you teach contracts class. I always learn something. Thank you for giving us everything that you have every week. He loved that, right? Who's in your life that you might want to get closer to, that you could put on that list of 25? And you know what? People love it. They're happy. You're adding value to their life. And it also made me happy because people were happy to hear from me. They reached back out and they had positive things to say, and it made me smile, right? So thank you, Sean Aker, for that activity. And it's a good one. If you guys ever want that book, you can just go right on Amazon and search Sean Aker Happiness, and that book will pop up. Right? Gratitude and happiness is contagious, and it is a great way to start your lead generation. Right? KW culture. I won't go into this too much because we hear a lot about this regularly, but you know, we have actually the next pages will break it down a little bit more. We have you know, a diversity and equity groups. We have Red Day, which is in May, and which was a great experience up at the Lions Club this year. We had a lot of fun doing that. You know, Keller Williams is built on culture and helping people. What I love about the KW culture is that we support each other. I don't know of another brokerage. I've only ever been with Keller Williams, but when I talk to people from other brokerages, I don't hear of the collaboration that happens within their agent system. Here, there's a lot of collaborators. If you call an agent and ask for help, we help each other. We give each other material. High-producing agents share what they have. They're not just their knowledge. Sometimes they'll even share their marketing with you and what they're doing. And that is the Keller Williams culture. I love it. I'll never go anyplace else. And here is a video, if I can get it to play, about the KW culture.
2023, Keller Williams turns 40. And sometimes midlife crisis is a good thing.
It's really loud.
Now, we aren't going to run out and buy a flashy sports car or a boat or some other toy. And we aren't suddenly going to grow a mustache because we've already got one. But it is time for something big because that's what we do. It's time to tell the world who we really are and why we were called to this. T.S. Eliot said, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time." We started as a small real estate company with a mission to become so trusted by our clients that we can become their realtor for life. But of course, Gary Keller taught us that to be realtors for life, we had to be more than realtors. We're coaches, therapists, mentors, mind readers, and magicians. We're digital hunters with human touch. Wheelers and dealers who only use our powers for good. We are advocates and shoulders to cry on, friends to lean on, and confidants to trust. Together, we are the keys and the doors to new futures. This is the most important time in our lives, as a company, and simply as people. Your clients are feeling that same thing when they come to you. Their first homes, their final homes, newly married, newly divorced, empty nesters are more on the way. These are the most joyous, terrifying, and hopeful times of all our lives. Because your clients are jumping off cliffs. They're trusting you to build wings on the way down. We get to feel the thrill of that connection every day. If we do our jobs right. If we do our jobs right, they aren't jobs at all. It is indeed a calling. To build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, and lives worth living. To be entrepreneurs. For 40 years, we at Keller Williams have deeply believed that entrepreneurship is the miracle of America. That in America, if you can dream it, you can build it. We're privileged to be in the business of buying and selling the most important and life-changing dream. The dream of owning a home of your own. It's not just an American dream. It's a dream shared around the world. At Keller Williams, we want to continue to earn the right to be the home of the dreamers, the doers, the entrepreneurs, the hundreds of thousands of you who have dreamed and built your own business, and in the process, built ours. We all know everything changes, but we will always champion you, the entrepreneurs, who are powered by purpose, by energy and passion, teamwork, trust, and technology, integrity and culture, and trained in the rules of how we would do it, but who also have the confidence to bend the rules in ways Gary never dreamed of, but hoped you would. You see, we aren't here to teach you our past, or to try and predict your future. We're here to help you create the future. We are reigniting a culture of celebrating entrepreneurial visionaries. Because real leaders don't create followers. We create more leaders. We are teaching rebellion and inspiring invention. You are mavericks and world changers. And your relentless creativity, fueled by the competitive drive inside every one of you, will make the real estate models of today look quaint by the time you're finished. Everything we ever did was a risk. We started as a little underdog company and grew to be the largest real estate company in the world. You know what underdogs do when they get big? They look for bigger fights. Look for those fights. We want you to out Gary. Take risks. Think hard. Take action. All these things that you are for your clients, the coach, the therapist, and the key to a new future, we will redevote ourselves to being for you. There's a reason we want your name larger than ours on signs.
This video is
When you look at your clients and think to yourself, it's not about me, it's about them. Well, it's not about us. It's about you. This is the most important time in our lives. You're living in a home built for entrepreneurs to thrive. And true entrepreneurs don't have to wait for doors to open. After all, we have our own lockboxes.
Okay.
Welcome home.
All right. Up. Here we go. So one lesson about that video. I love the video because it's all true, but if you guys go out and do videos, don't make them that long. It's a little bit long. But it is all true. And that is why I love Keller Williams, is because they do pour into us. You know, their goal is to help us build our own business. As opposed to, you know, you'll never see ads on the TV for Keller Williams because they want us to promote our own brand, which is very unique for a brokerage to be like that. And the mission here at Keller Williams is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. You know, I love being in the real estate business because I want to give people a good experience every time. Sometimes you're helping people get into a great situation. Sometimes you're helping them get out of a bad situation, right? Either way, I want them to have a good experience. I want to be able to provide that for them. And the experience that they need is going to be different than the experience that other people that I'm working with are going to need. So it's finding out how we can make that a unique and great experience for that individual that I think is so fun and rewarding. This is really a great a great page, the KW belief system, the Y4C2Ts. I sometimes will use this when I'm talking to a buyer or a seller, more when I'm talking to a seller than when I'm talking to a buyer. Because I believe this. I believe that this helps make a great transaction, right? It helps make lead generation so effective when we are a win-win or no deal. And I go into that, I go into every transaction with that attitude. I want the seller to feel like they're winning, and I want the buyer to feel like they're winning, regardless of which side I represent. Because when both sides feel like they're winning, you have a much smoother transaction, and you have a much stronger chance of getting to that closing table without something happening, right? Integrity, do the right thing 100% of the time. Every day I wake up and I tell myself who I am as a person and what my integrity level is. Then when I'm in a difficult situation, I don't have to decide how I'm going to react, because I'm always going to do the right thing, and I'm always going to come from a place of integrity. When there are people and situations in this business that will want to push against that integrity level, we can't let them, right? Customers always come first. This isn't about me, it's about them. I have no judgment about the decisions that they make, and they come first. Commitment in all things. If I'm going to get up every day and do this job, I'm going to commit to it, right? Communication, seek first to understand. That's that curiosity piece that's so important, right? We want to seek to understand. We need to ask more questions. I'm looking at downsizing. Great, tell me more about that. What does downsizing look to you? Because it looks different to one person than it does to another. What will your life look like? And you know, seeking to understand will help you find your client's motivation, why they want to do that. Because when things can get challenging in a transaction, you bring them back to that. You first took the time to understand what was important to them. And then when they're struggling with a piece of the transaction, you bring them back to that. Like maybe it's talking about negotiating inspections. And there's a small point that they don't, piece that they don't want to give. They don't want to give or yield to. You get them through that. Say, if you yield this little bit, we're going to get you to Florida. We're going to get you to downsizing. And that $200 or $500 washing machine that you don't want to give up right now, is you're going to let that stand in your way from getting to Florida or getting that second home or getting to upsizing or downsizing. Because as soon as that you leave that closing table, you're going to forget about that washing machine or whatever it is. So we have to understand why they want to do what they want to do in order to be able to continue to help them, right? It's our job to keep them on track and not let them get stuck in the weeds. Creativity, ideas before results. I have somebody under contract now that they offered to leave all the personal property in the house when they buy it. And I'm working with the buyer in a multiple offer situation where they had offers well higher than my client's offer. But they offered for that seller to not have to move things out of the property. The seller, who was handling an estate from like California or something. So creativity, ideas before results. It's not always about the money, right? Teamwork, together everyone achieves more. I'm a team right now with the co-brokes that I'm under contract with. We both have a responsibility to get our people to the closing table, right? So we need to be a team. Trust starts with honesty. We always have to be We always have to be honest with our customers and our clients, with our co-brokes, with people out in the market. Sometimes delivering hard news is hard, it's difficult, but people are looking to us to be honest, right? Oh, I have a chat. Actually, I think it's AI trying to do something to me. Got it. So yeah, being honest is super important in this business. We have to deliver hard news sometimes, and people are looking for us to be direct and honest with them. Equity, opportunities for all, and success is results through people. So this is a belief system, and it's really a great way to conduct ourselves in everything that we do, but definitely in our business. A couple of pieces that, of culture again, Red Day, which stands for Renew, Energize, and Donate. That's the one time a year where every Keller Williams office shuts down and our agents and our staff go out and do a project or two in the community. Because we are community members. We're, agents, real estate agents are historically people that are involved in their community. Being involved in your community is a great way to network, and people want to see that we care. So that's our opportunity every year to do that. And KW Cares is a fantastic nonprofit where we take care of our own. KW Cares is an opportunity where if there's somebody in a market center, and it could be someone in the office staff, it could be an agent that is experiencing some sort of struggle or hardship, then that office can submit a grant to financially give some support to that person. And we have had people in our own market center that have received grants through KW Cares to help them out with something. Because, if somebody has like a death in their immediate family, we've had someone that had a spouse that passed, and, your business stops when you have to deal with challenging things, but you still need income. KW Cares is there to support that. I personally have money taken out of every commission check to donate towards KW Cares, and it's a deduction on your taxes. So it's a great, if you want more information on that, always feel free to reach out to me or leadership. I'm not one on going over all the awards that we've gotten, but we've gotten a lot. Training and coaching. So there's a lot of training and coaching, and Candace, you were talking about this too earlier, like figuring out what to do for training. What I love about Keller Williams, and this market center does more training and coaching than most market centers, by far. Our training calendar is packed. What do I love about that? They just offer so much. What is hard about that? They offer so much. You can't do all of it every single time that it comes up. So my challenge to you is look at that calendar and figure out, okay, what do I need the most right now? Do I need help with technology? Do I need help with contracts? Contracts you should go to every week anyway. I love contracts class, and you're constantly learning, and you're better able to serve your clients when you do know the contracts. But what is on that calendar that would best suit me? Because all of these things will keep coming up again and again. So there may be a class that sounds wonderful, but maybe it's just not the right time. And certainly work with Tim as your coach, or ask another agent, a seasoned agent, that, what's their opinion if you need help with picking what classes to do. And then, of course, they have, the big national events, international events at Family Reunion and Mega Camp, Ignite, and other things that are available on Command to look for training. And are you using Command, Eric?
Yeah.
You are? I use Command too.
I used to, kind of spaz. So I have one place and I have another.
You do, you have
I'm still
two?
trying out which ones I have like my own that I've kind of built out versus the Keller one. But yeah, I think it's great. It's the only thing you've ever learned. It's very functional.
Yep. Yeah. Do you guys use Command? Patrick, Candace, Morgan? I would chat. Morgan does. Yep. And Patrick, abundance beats scarcity every time. Yes, Patrick, that is so true. And Morgan, you do for my team lead. So it doesn't matter what database you use, but you must use one, because you think you're going to remember to contact people and you don't. And Command is great because you're going to have to learn how to use it in order to get paid, right? So basically the vertical line on the left are all the different apps that are available to you in Command. I'm not going to go through all of those with you today. There are classes on the KWCLM Agent Hub. You can find training on Command. And then there's also, we do have a tech trainer that you have access to learn more about Command. If you need to figure out where those resources are, please reach out to leadership. You can call me, you can call Tim. Kaylee, everyone here would be willing to help you figure out where you need to go to next to learn about Command. What I do like about Command is there is an app that you can put on your phone I don't know if you can see it. I actually keep it as one of my stationary apps down here on the bottom. So if I'm on the road and I need to call someone, I can open that up. I can hit call right through my phone. I can have a conversation. And then it will ask me if I want to document that. And I can just document it right then and there without having to write a note and then get back to the office and then open up their contact and put that in there. So I do like the phone app for command. Going to go through some of these. Profit share. Tim does offer a profit share class, I believe quarterly. It might be every other quarter. Profit share is if you encourage somebody to come to Keller Williams Coastal Lakes and Mountains, then when they become a producing agent, until they cap, you get a piece of that commission. Not a piece of commission that the agent gives up, a piece of the company dollar that is part of the split that goes to KW. Okay. What we love about that is it's passive income. It will hit your bank account the 21st or the 22nd of every month. And it's just kind of a nice surprise when you have somebody in there that is contributing to your checking account. And it just happens every single time they transact up until they cap. So if you want to learn more about passive income, take Tim's class. That would be one worthy of going to figure out how you can do passive income and do profit share. There are agents here that receive thousands of dollars a month. Some have received like in the tens of thousands of dollars in 1 month just from profit share because they focus on it. Okay. KW communities. There are specialties and communities that you can belong to. If any of these resonate with you, then that's again something to reach out to Tim on. We do have people here that are in KW commercial. I don't practice commercial, but I refer. I love referring commercial because if you give a commercial agent here, somebody, a buyer or seller, you'll get a your 25% referral fee, but they stay with every time that person transacts, you'll get that referral fee, which is a little bit different.
Even like I've tried to like reach out to people in like California and other parts of the country as well to like try and start finding them referrals, like
Yeah.
find them the agents. It's worked pretty well.
That's a great way to have like money that you're not doing a lot.
Like never gonna be an agent out there, but I lived out there forever, so I might as well try to farm it.
Absolutely. And so you know what I love about that? You are taking advantage of something that is in your wheelhouse.
Yep.
If you used to live out there, try to make money at that. Yep, perfect. We do have a luxury division here. We do young professionals is pretty active here too. So there's some opportunities to be with like-minded people. Your vision, this is just like a kind of a fun activity that you could do on your own. And it's kind of talking to your future self of like, what do you want your life to look like in 1 year from now? And what's good about this exercise is it can help keep you on track of your goals and kind of get your butt up off the couch and into some type of production activity or activities that will lead to production when you know what you want your future self to look like, right? 1 year from now, your business is thriving and your life is everything you've dreamed of. Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Right? Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring business your way. You're helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire, and you are building the foundation and momentum for your entire career in gaining relationships and experiences and the income you deserve. Get good at talking about the money when you're talking to buyers and sellers, okay? You're a top agent in your market center, or maybe you're a rookie of the year if you're new, and you're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you focus and take care of the 20%, which is lead gen, right? And then you're on the path to fill in the blank, whatever that is that's important to you. Is it your path to donate a lot of money? Is it your path to buy your own property? Is it your path to go on a lot of vacations? Hey, how you doing? whatever that looks like to you. So let this be a tool to motivate you to get into lead generation every day. And then the other piece of that activity is to fill in your big life, right? So you would figure out what you want for a dollar amount in that center circle. And what would you do with that money? Right? And that looks different for everybody, right? It could be paying off your mortgage. It could be putting kids through school. It could be donations. It could be buying your own house. It could be buying a new car. It could be investing in something, right? Making your money work for you for your retirement. If you have this up as a visual, it will motivate you when it's really challenging to get on the phone or really challenging to figure out what you're going to do for lead generation that day. Right? And Gary Keller and Keller Williams want you to have a big life. I want that for you too. Right? To achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it. That's your big why. If you don't have that in your head, it's hard to motivate yourself. We have to be self-starters to have a real estate business, because there's nobody else to do the work for us. We have to be the ones to do it in order to be sitting at closing tables. So think about what your big why would be. This is kind of a cool slide too, because we need to talk about where, I like being really clear with people on money when I'm talking to a buyer and a seller. We need to be able to show them our value, and we need to be able to communicate with them what we earn for a commission. And I use the word earn when I'm sitting with a buyer or a seller. I don't say I charge. I let them know I earn it. I earn 3%, right? And get good at that conversation. If it's with a buyer, that might sound something like, I earn 3%, or I earn 3 apples. We're going to do when we go and look at a house, we may build that full 3% into the offer. That seller may be willing to pay all of that 3 apples. They may be willing to pay 2 apples. If they're going to pay 2 apples, I will be looking to you, Maria, to make me whole on that 3rd apple. What we will know is every time before you go under contract or when you write an offer is what that amount's going to look like. I don't yield on what I earn because I have responsibility to bring money home to my family. I may change that based off of circumstances of a person that I'm working with, but I have to be good and clear and confident when I'm talking about my commission. And here's why. Where does your commission dollar go? It may go to the other agent, like if you're working with a seller, right? And they're willing to pay a specific number of apples, some of that might be going to the other agent. Less now that we've been through this whole NAR settlement than when this Ignite course was first set up, right? But it used to look like that, like half, if you were working with a seller. You have splits with the market center, right? Until you cap. And I know all of you are going to cap. There's all cappers in this classroom. That's your goal. But until then, the market center needs to take a piece of that so that we can keep the doors open here, right? You have business expenses, right? You just gave out a lot of business cards. You're going to have to buy some more, Candace. You have marketing. You have dues, MLS dues. December's coming. That's when we pay our board fees, right? People don't realize how many expenses we have, right? And then Uncle Sam, we have to pay taxes, right? I would encourage all of you, one of the best things, it took me too many years to do it, but I did eventually do it a few years ago. I had Kaylee set up a separate account. Whenever I have a commission check that comes to me, a percentage of that goes to a separate account for taxes. Then I don't have to worry about taxes when tax time comes around. It makes your life so much easier. And you get used to just getting that, like I have her put 30% in. I get used to living off the 70, right? We got to pay taxes. And then you get to take that little slice home. So that's where your commission dollars go. So that's why having value and showing value and being able to articulate that value to the market is so important, because we have to charge them a commission so that we can have money to bring home to our families. Okay, there's business planning clinic is coming up, and Tim will go over lots of examples of how to do your income goal. But if you start with a net income goal, then you can dial that back to how many transactions I need to do to hit that goal. And that's by knowing what your company dollar is. That's what your split is with KW Coastal and royalty. What you have for business expenses, and that will give you what your gross commission income needs to be, right? And then part of that calculation for knowing how many transactions you would need to do to hit that is to figure out what your average commission is. And if you don't have one yet, then use the companies, and that is about between $8,000 and $9,000 usually. Okay. And then as you start doing more and more transactions, that will get more defined on what yours specifically is, because it might be a different commission level for buyers than for sellers, but you can start tracking all of that. But business planning clinic for sure will help you target what your goals are going to be for how many transactions you need to do, and then that can even get broken down into how many conversations you need to be having with people. Okay. All right, I think we're going to be done a little early today. This is a slide that you will see every day in Ignite. And I just want to make sure there's nothing here in the chat. We need to have a daily success plan, right? We need to know what we have to do every day. It shouldn't be a guess. We shouldn't get up in the morning going, I hope something good happens in real estate today, right? We have to be on purpose. How many conversations are we going to have? And guys, the math does not lie, right? It's 10. You should be having at least 10 conversations a day, right? And that's a two-way conversation, right? Not just I sent out 10 texts and I hope they get back to me. It's I talked to 10 different people. Maybe some of them were on the phone. Maybe some of them were direct message. Maybe some were over text, but it was two ways about real estate. It doesn't have to be about somebody that's ready to transact or ready to buy or ready to sell, but it's about real estate. Because the more you talk to somebody about real estate, the more they're going to remember you when they are ready to transact. And that's our job, is to make sure that people that are in our sphere and in our world, they know that we're in real estate, because guess what? They're going to use whoever they think of first when it's time to transact. And if it's not you, that's your fault. It's not their fault. And I've had friends and family that have gone to other agents, and it's not their fault if they didn't remember that I was in real estate still. That's on me. And you need to add 10 people to your database every day until your database is up and working for you. But you guys are all new enough where you should be looking for 10 people to add to your database every day. And let's make that really good information that you have, right? Get their names and their email addresses and their phone numbers and their social media profiles. What do they do? What's their address? Do they have a spouse or a partner or a family? Like, get full contact information. Put those notes in your database so that the next time you call them, you pull that information up and you know what to talk to them about. The notes are super important because you think that you're going to remember, but you don't always remember. And even things like I put in like what kinds of house they would be looking for, what kind of financial, like how much would they be looking for? What's their budget going to be? Have they talked to a lender, that kind of thing, so that when I go to call them, I have that information. And the next one's my favorite, 10 handwritten notes. People love mail. Guess what? We don't get a lot of good mail in our mailboxes anymore. We get bills and we get like ads and not a lot of fun stuff. People really like handwritten notes. I think it's such an underutilized source for lead generation. It could be, if I talk to somebody on the phone and it's a good conversation, I generally will pull that. I have cards right next to my computer I'll pull one down and write a handwritten note, like, just great to talk to you. Or sometimes if I've left a message and I'm not able, and I see through command, I keep leaving messages, but they're not getting back to me. I'll toss in handwritten note in there so that they can get something from the mail from me. And it's okay if you leave messages and they don't call you back. It might just mean that they're not ready to use you yet. But you still leave those messages because you still need to remind them that you're here. And sometimes I'll even let people off the hook, like leaving a message, hoping that, I was thinking about you today, so I thought I'd just pick up the phone and give you a call, see how you're doing. It's okay if you don't have anything that you need from me right now. I just want to remind you that I'm here when you do. So let them off the hook so that they don't feel bad that they haven't gotten back to you for the last 4 messages. And then social media engagement, right? You should like at least 10, when you go on Facebook, please use it for lead generation. Be on purpose about liking and laughing at people's posts. You should be commenting on at least 5 a day and maybe sharing 1. You know what I think is great is when you have people on your Facebook page and they write something and then you look through the comments and somebody that you don't know, but maybe you've seen their name a lot, they comment and I comment on their comment. And now I'm starting to have a little bit of friendly interaction. So I might meet them out in the marketplace someday. They're going to start to feel a connection with me if they start seeing my name and my face associated with their friend that we have in common. That builds credibility for them in me. Oh, you know Eric too? Yeah, I've met Eric here. And, however that's going to look, that's a great way to use Facebook or Instagram on purpose for lead generation. And in regards to social media, I'm just going to get on my soapbox for 1 minute. We don't have the right to use social media the way everybody else has the right to use social media. We are in business for ourselves. Keep it clean. Don't put a lot of boozy pictures on there, and do not put political stuff on there. It's not good for your business. We're in such an environment where if people disagree with you, they won't want to do business with you. So don't give them reasons to disagree with you, right? Other people that are not self-employed, that don't have businesses to run, they can use social media however they want to. I believe it's important to be positive, to be showing gratitude, to be showing value, put some market stuff out there that people will find interesting. And you can ask some questions and, you can be a little bit opinionated, but I keep it very general. I don't want to give somebody a reason to disagree with me because they might like me a lot, but if I have a very different opinion on something than they do that's important to them, it doesn't even matter that I'm a great real estate agent. They're going to just be like, I might not want to use Susan, honey, because, she feels this way about that. Let's go talk to Eric instead, right? So that's how I feel about our ability to use social media. And it's really important. We also don't bash anybody on social media, and we do not bash other agents, right? People don't want to see that type of behavior from us. So that's social media. Every day, 10, 5, and 1. And enrichments, gifts. People love gifts, guys. People like free stuff. It doesn't have to be expensive. But gifting is important. If you get a referral from somebody, they should be getting a handwritten note. Personally, I send a $25 gift card if somebody gives me a referral, whether it's a great referral or a crappy referral. What I love is that they're getting into habit of thinking about real estate when someone says they're looking to buy or sell. If they take the time to refer me, yeah, they're getting a handwritten note and a gift card. And then I keep them up to speed as to what's happening with that referral. Taking John and Susie out shopping, we went under contract, we're closing, and when we close, I give them a $100 gift card somewhere, right? Because I'm that grateful for them for thinking of me. And guess what? I want them to do it again. If they're getting gifts from me and they know that's going to happen, they're more inclined to want to give my name out again, right? Gifts are great. And then you fill in the blank for the appointments, agreements, and closings. We want you guys to have closings. It's so fun to sit at a closing table and get checks, and it's okay to be money motivated that way. I am. So if you want to be able to get to the closing part, though, you have to do the math and you have to do the 10, 10, 10, and then the 10, 5, 1. You have to be talking to people about real estate. Don't do the bad things, right? We don't call people that don't want us to call them if they're on the do not call list. It's $41,000 fine that Keller Williams is not going to be paying if it ever came to that. So don't call people on the do not call list. Okay. Powerful conversations get results. And this is all about lead generation, right? When we are lead generating, it doesn't have to come off like really stiff. It's just in conversation, know what you want to pull out of them, right? We want to uncover their motivation. That's super important. If they're looking to sell their home, we want to know why. Because we need to use that with them as we're helping them through the process. Are they trying to get close to grandchildren? Are they trying to, get a bigger house because now 2 people are working from home and they didn't have room for that. They don't have room for that in their current house. What is their motivation? Identify objections. Are we asking enough questions to know what their objections are and identify them? Is it price? Is it timing? Maybe they just have no idea on how the hell to time this stuff. It's scary for a lot of people. We have to remove the fear and bring clarity to the conversation, right? Powerful conversations around lead generation will help you close deals. And we need to speak in terms that the customer understands because that builds confidence in them. Don't use all the acronyms that we have, like the MLS and the KW this, and that doesn't speak to them. We need to figure out what language they're speaking, and we need to speak like that, right? So we're finding out, do you want to sell? Where do you want to go? What will your life look like when you get there? What's your time frame for wanting to do that? What will happen if you don't get there in that time frame, right? Especially with sellers. Because maybe they're like dragging their feet on some of the things they need to do in order to get a photographer in there and to get online, to get active on the market. And now fall is here and they wanted to be in Arizona by Christmas with their grandchildren. So we can use that motivation that they told us about to help them get through the process. The more powerful the conversation, the more confidence that they're going to have in us. So we're going to ask the private conversation, the private questions too, right? Like if you're going to sell your house, we need to know like, well, how much do you owe in your mortgage? Are you behind? Are you behind is going to become more and more of an important question. People are struggling out there, guys. They're not going on Facebook and putting on there that they're struggling. But if you can see like the lawn's not getting taken care of, that, maybe there's some deferred maintenance happening when you drive by that wasn't there before, call them. If there's someone call them. They might need your help. And if you ask those difficult questions, you'll find out how best to help them. And they're going to look at you as the expert, right? And it's fun helping people. Okay. The purpose and benefit conversation, right? And they sound like, did you find everything that you were looking for? Maybe this is at an open house. Go ahead, look around. Please let me know if I can help you. I see you admiring that big screen TV. Are you looking to get one for the big game this weekend? That's kind of a weird one, but that's kind of a weird one. But if I'm at an open house and I see them looking at the living room or the kitchen in particular, I'm going to ask them why. I was at an open house once and another agent came in with their client and I'm standing in the kitchen and Jesse said, "Hey, Susan, good to see you. Where's the master bedroom?" I said, "Up the stairs, down the hall to the left." And they just went right there. Then they looked around the house a little bit, not much. And then they left. I was like, that was so weird. He came back after he was done with his clients and and just to say hi, because I hadn't seen him in a while. And I said, why did you go straight to the bedroom? And he said, I do that every time I'm working with a buyer. I find out what room is the most important to them, and that's the room we go to first. Because buyers will take like 10 seconds, 25 seconds, not even a full minute, to know if this is going to be a property that interests them or not. So I go to that room first, and if it's the bedroom, then it's the bedroom. We go there first. And if it's exactly what they want, they're going to want to spend more time looking around. If it's nothing like what they want, I'm not wasting anybody's time, right? So the purpose and benefit conversation. I see that you're spending a lot of time in the primary bedroom suite. What's important to you about that? Do you not have your own private bathroom where you are now? Because that might be an indicator, right? Come from curiosity. Sphere definition, people you have met in one way, shape, or form. Sphere of influence, SOI, you'll hear those terms talked about a lot. Guys, people that know, like, and trust you want to help you build your business. What are you around that you are not in? The school thing was an example. When I still do business with people that I hung out with, the parents that I hung out with on the swim team. And my son's 25. It's been a long time since he's been swimming. My other son was big into rock climbing. And I'm now helping kids that he rock climbed with buy houses. So whatever you're around, how do you get more ingrained in that? Is it your church? If you go to church, that is such a hotbed for referrals, guys. And I work with agents who they focus like so much of their effort on a church that they go to. A lot of built-in trust already, right? If people of your same faith are seeing you at church and you're volunteering for stuff. You know, is it that you have a big social network? You go to networking events and dinner parties and stuff like that. Whatever it is that where you're interacting with people, find ways to connect with those people and have conversations with them about real estate. They want to help you. Your friends and family want to help you. My big sister is a hairdresser, and I give her a stack of my cards. I get referrals from her. My twin sister, zero referrals from her. The hairdresser, I get referrals from. Go figure. They want to help us. This is my absolute favorite slide in the whole day presentation. Catch your sphere on the move. I use this all the time when I'm talking to people. I don't have it posted up next to my computer right now, but I had months where this was on a sticky note on my computer. Catch your sphere on the move. Right here at the top. Right there. That's when someone moves. You might have just missed it with someone on your sphere. They might have just closed on a house, right? But that's okay, because people move every 7 to 10 years, and I am going to challenge that 7 to 10 years to say 5 to 7. I think people are moving more frequently now than when this slide was made. So you're contacting them, even if they just bought or just sold. You congratulate them. You hope they had a great experience. Most people will use the same agent that they use to buy or sell, except those agents don't stay in touch with them, so they forget who they are. So even if that person in your sphere already did just transact, that's okay. Put them in your database. Put a quarterly reminder in there to at least be touching them, not in a creepy way, like message or phone or mail or whatever, every quarter at least. And then you ask them questions when you're connecting with them, right? Hey, how's the family? Kids getting big? Starting to have kids? Aging parents? Off to college? Want a lake house? Like all of the questions, right? Ask them about their family. Ask them about their occupation. Ask them about their hopes and dreams. When they start giving you information in those conversations that are giving you clues that they're going to be ready to transact again, that's when they're down here at the bottom. Now, these hashes here, that means you're going to start connecting with them more frequently, right? Because they're saying, oh my gosh, we're so excited. We're going to have a baby next year. That's our plan. Cool. You live in a 1-bedroom house and you both work from home. How's that gonna look when you have a baby? You know, if you have kids, that that's not gonna look so great. They're gonna need a bigger place, right? My parents are getting older. I'm thinking that we're gonna have them move in with us. I don't really have the space now, don't know what that's gonna look like, but that's kind of the plan in a year or two. Cool. I'm gonna start now connecting with them more regularly about whatever that is, whatever the conversations are, that they're giving me information that they're gonna be ready to transact again. I'm heating up my number of times I communicate with them. Because people will reach out to the agent that they think of first. So we have to be there first. We need to be the ones that they think of. That's our job. Right? So then when they're ready to move again, we've heated up that communication enough times and with value, right? Oh, you're looking to move? Let me set you up on a listing cart for the town that you live in now, for that you're selling in, so that you know what that market looks like. And let me set you up on a listing cart over here where you're looking to move. And you can start seeing what that market looks like and how that pricing works. And let's talk about financing, and let's talk about, do you need to buy and sell on the same day? I can make that happen for you. Like, there's all kinds of conversations that we can start having when we heat up the amount of times that we're connecting with them. Then they're ready to move and they call us because we're top of mind and we've shown them value, right? Now they've got to get all the way down that slump before they hit the hump again. So we're staying in touch with them because we have them in our database. We're being reminded through command or whatever we're using to reach back out to them quarterly. How are you settling into the house? It takes a while to make a house a home. You know, how do the kids like the school system? Whatever it is, those conversations. And when something happens that their conversations are indicating that they're going to want to move again, we're heating their level of communication up again, right? So catch your sphere on the move. If you can get into the habit of knowing where your contacts are every time you talk to them, where they are on this chart, you won't miss out on a deal because you chose not to communicate with them. Right? How are you tagging those people, right? Like, I like A, B, and C because I'm like a very simple person. It makes it easy for me. If they're an A seller, that means they're going to be ready soon. If they're a B, they might be starting to heat up a little bit on the upswing. If they're a C, they just sold. They're going to be a while, but I don't want to lose them, right? So catch your sphere on the move. Does anyone have any questions on that? On that? So it's basically the likelihood of a move against time. When is that going to happen? Okay. So you don't know what to talk about when you do get these guys on the phone? This is what you talk to them about. This is how you can chart them on that wave, right? You talk to them about their family. Hey, how's the family going? Upsizing, downsizing, kids, no kids, aging parents, divorcing. That is an opportunity. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just happen to have helped a lot of people divorcing. I don't want it for anybody, but if they do have to go through that, I can help. I'm really good at helping divorcing couples when they don't even get along with each other, because I want to make this a good experience for them in a tough situation. Talk to them about their jobs. Hey, Sally, how's work going? Are you still at Liberty Mutual? You are? Do you like it? Oh, you want to make a move? What would you want to do? Recreation. We just had summer. Did you guys have any, when you're on the phone with them, did you guys do anything fun this summer? Do you have anything you didn't do that you wish you did that you're going to put on next year's list? Ski season's coming up. Do you guys ski? What are you going to, that kind of thing? Holidays are coming up. Do you have any plans around the holidays? Dreams. I mean, it might feel awkward to call up someone that you hardly know and say, hey, what are your dreams? But you can find another way to talk about their dreams. Like, hey, what are your goals for the holidays? What are you looking to do? Or what are your goals for, as we're at the end of next year? We're setting goals for 2026. They might be too. Ask them about their goals. If you start talking about these things, real estate will pop into these conversations. They know you're a real estate agent. They're going to be the ones to actually flick in some of the real estate topics of conversation. You talk about their job, they might ask you about yours. How's real estate going? Great. I absolutely love it. I'm in the middle of helping 4 really fantastic families right now. And then you can go into detail about stuff like that. So the Ford, they call it the Ford method or the Ford script: family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Okay, so we are at the end of the first session. Does anybody have any questions or ahas or things that they want to talk about or share? Anyone out there in Zoom world? The next session is embrace your job. So I don't know who's teaching that. I'm sure it's going to be fabulous. And embrace your job is, I don't have the curriculum for it, but it's going to talk about lead generation for sure, and stuff that you should be doing every day to embrace your job so that you have all the tools that you need to be successful in getting people signed to an agency agreement and then under contract and then at the closing table, which is really the goal, right? Okay, cool. Thank you for joining on Zoom. I appreciate it. And thank you for coming in person, Maria and Eric. And I'm going to stop sharing.
Thank you. It was great.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm glad that you were here, Candace, and good luck. I know you guys are going to just crush it in the rest of 2025 and into 2026. I am really easy to find on Facebook. If you guys need anything, I'm always happy to have a call and help you through a conversation that you might need to have, or anything that you're doing. Okay.
Okay.